Good morning and happy Thursday on this March 23rd. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Coming up on today's show, we are introducing you to a coffee shop in Murfreesboro, Tennessee that is promoting positivity and great culture. And lastly, Devon O'Day and Sylvia Ganier will teach us how to make a slow-cooked braised beef stew. It sounds amazing already, and I cannot wait to share with you that later on in the show. But first, let's get a check of the headlines.
An investigation is underway by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to learn what led to an officer-involved shooting in Dixon Saturday, March 11th. First reports say that officers responded to a burglary in progress at 110 Oakwood Circle in Dixon, and that's where they found Randy Scott Beasley, who had lived at the residence at that address. He was evicted and had allegedly made his way back to the home and was staying there. Now, Beasley fled. That's when a Dixon City police officer pursued him. That's when Beasley put his car in reverse. That's when that officer fired at Beasley, who sustained minor injuries. You can read more about the investigation and the reports by going to DixonPost.com. Well, this is one of the 3 tiny kittens that are in need of your help. First, take a look at some of the new residents at the Humane Society of Dixon County. The litter of puppies were brought in after a person called saying that their dog had had the puppies, but they were unable to take care of them. While picking up those pups, some kittens were noticed in the garage. Well, they too are being cared for by the Humane Society of Dixon County. To donate to the kittens who, again, need your help with care, visit the Humane Society of Dixon County's Facebook page or call 615-446-7387. A Goodwill facility is coming to Lebanon, Tennessee. A groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for Tuesday, the 28th at 8 in the morning. The location is 1414 West Main Street. The site was the location of the Goodwill Industries of Middle Tennessee Donation Express Center. You can read more all about the features of the new Goodwill location going up by going to chronicleofmountjuliet.com. Let's get a check of our weather. Hopefully it's going to continue to warm up since, it's spring. We'll get this from the Tennessee Valley weather.
Hey folks, happy Thursday to you. Thank you so much for watching this weather update. I'm Ben Luna in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. It was a rainy and fairly cool Wednesday. Today is going to be a complete opposite, partly cloudy and warm by this afternoon. Many of you will see the mid, maybe even upper 70s in a few spots across the area. But here comes the big takeaway. Don't get too used to it because some big changes are looming again as we look ahead to your Friday afternoon and tomorrow night. More on that in just a second. Here's Futurecast. As we head through the morning, notice we'll be thinning out the cloud coverage across the Middle Tennessee area. And then from that point through the afternoon, I think we'll see a fair amount of sunshine really from the Tennessee River plumb over to the Cumberland Plateau for today. It's going to be a good day, just a little bit breezy with a good southwest wind on deck for today, with temperatures soaring well into the mid 70s for many spots across the area. It is tomorrow afternoon through early Saturday morning that's drawing some pretty big concerns for us. Notice by tomorrow morning, we'll be seeing a few storms across southwest Kentucky. More of this activity will start to form up and roll across the area Friday afternoon, culminating in a pretty stout line of storms that's going to be moving through here late Friday night through early Saturday morning. Now, the core of the severe weather threat, I think, is going to be just to our southwest. However, all of the Middle Tennessee region and a good chunk of West Tennessee, too, is going to be under the threat for a form of severe weather. We could be seeing some twisting wind along with some pretty rocky thunderstorms producing strong wind as well as this line moves through the area. Still working on a few details to this forecast, so tune in again for tomorrow and we'll be updating you on when and what you can expect at your location. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Again, showers and storms here through tomorrow evening and Saturday morning. Skies will be clearing for just a bit Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning before another round of storms arrives here Sunday night. That's a look at your forecast. Make it a great day.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare. When you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Hi, I'm Stefanie Miller from Mornings on Main Street. Join us March 23rd at Bridgestone Arena with the Nashville Predators for Main Street Media Night. I know Devon O'Day will be here.
You know I will be, Stephanie. Plus, you can register for a Predators prize pack. They were going to call it the Hockey Hootenanny, but they changed. So that it's going to have 4 tickets and food vouchers. You got to register to win.
We're looking forward to seeing all of our Main Street Sports Today fans, right, Chris?
Absolutely, we are, and we could not do this without, of course, our owner, Dave Gould, and our friends here at Smashville.
Speaking of,
where is Dave?
we will see you March 23rd for Main Street Media Night. Let's go, Prince!
Do I have the wrong night?
Here at the Journey Louis team with Benchmark Realty, we pride ourselves on the service that we provide our clients.
We believe in delivering a level of service that is above and beyond what is expected.
We don't cut corners and we are always available. We are committed to learning and continuously sharpening our skills.
We're social media experts, we're tech savvy, and we embrace change.
It is our unending desire to be our client's realtor for life. We are the Journey Louis team, leading you home.
At Miss Lucille's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lucille's. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back. So a particular spot in Murfreesboro, Tennessee is working on their coffee to make a positive impact through coffee and culture. And if you have not heard of the place, you need to Google this now. It's Brasshorn Coffee Roasters. With us now, we have owner Jeremy Florida with us. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, it's nice to sit down with you. First off, how did this get started? Where did this idea come from? Because this is spectacular.
Oh, thank you so
You're
much.
You're welcome.
Well, the seed for the idea started when I was in college. I worked at a small coffee shop that was family owned, and the owners and the managers just treated us all like family. And that coffee shop became my home away from home. And when I moved back to Tennessee, this is my hometown. I wanted to offer that same great experience to the college students in my town.
Is it one of those, is it hard for you not to go to a town and like try their coffee and like, for like your home spot to go to different coffee places and be like, this just isn't it, we need something more?
It's not hard. I love going to coffee shops and trying all different kinds of things. I learn a ton from other coffee shops, other coffee roasters, and just trying other products.
Very nice. Well, I have to say, I'm trying their Cuban now. So I started with the Cuban and then went with your house roast. Share with us the story behind the house roast that you have.
Yeah, that's one of our house blends. It's a blend of a natural processed Brazil coffee. The owner of the importing company grew up in Brazil on the coffee farms. And then the other 50% is the Villatoro family in Guatemala. Their family blend. So they own basically two sides of a mountain and a valley in Guatemala, and I got to meet Rodin. He's a third generation coffee farmer. He grew up on the coffee farm, went to university, studied agronomy, and is taking farming practices back to his family.
That is so cool.
It's all a family affair.
Well, speaking about you and your family and what you have here, you guys opened in November 2019. From the time that you started building this to say today, 2023, has this exceeded your expectations? And if so, how has it?
Yeah, the response from the community has been unbelievable. We felt so much love from our community, the support of my family and all the families in this community. It's been amazing, yeah.
You know, for anyone that looks at your website for Brasshorn Coffee Roasters, it's hard to skip over the fact that you have a very entrepreneurial family. Speaking of your great-grandfather, and I'm sorry, I have to say this, he was the inventor of Play-Doh. Like what? Who can say that? No one but you. How was that to, I guess, learn his story and like kind of go through your family history? Did that help you any?
Oh, for sure. My great-grandfather, Noah McVicker, he had a soap company called Cutall, and they made wallpaper cleaner, and it was this goo that you stick on wallpaper to remove soot because everyone used coal or wood-burning stoves to heat their houses at the time. Okay. So he took this goo and chemically re-engineered it to become Play-Doh. He had I believe it was a 4th grade education, and yeah, so his ingenuity, and then my grandfather, who I grew up right next door, his house is right next door to ours. He set up Play-Doh factories in 9 different countries, and so he's very business-minded. And my father owned Florida Brothers Auto Parts, which is the building right next door. My grandfather started that business in the building we're in right now in 1957, and so. Yeah, I guess it's just in my genes. I mean, the opportunities were all there too. So I don't want it to sound like I have done something incredible on my own here. I was very well set up and have had incredible support through my family and through this community.
That is so awesome to hear. Now let's go back to your coffee and what you have and how you get, I guess, what we have in front of us, how it gets here. Like, how do you make your selections? What do you do here in-house?
We do what's called a coffee cupping, and so we get samples in from different importers, all different countries. We roast sample batch sizes of that, so just 50 grams at a time, really small batches. And then we line them all up and taste them all through cupping. So there's all parameters that the Specialty Coffee Association has set up for that specialty coffee has to meet a cupping score of, I believe it's 83 or 84 or above, before the green coffee itself is graded as specialty coffee. So when we receive it, it is already graded as specialty coffee. Then what we do with it is to try to draw out all the natural flavors that are in that coffee, to honor the work that the farmers have put into it to make it a specialty product, and then just to be transparent with that. So not trying to add smokiness or not trying to add flavors to the coffee. All of our tasting notes are just more like wine terroir. It's tasting the environment, it's tasting the farming practices, the processing methods that they use after they've harvested the cherries, the fermentation processes they use, and it gets really in-depth and really fun. That's the fun part of the job.
It sounds like it. So you don't just have coffee here, though. You have food as well. How do you decide what you have to complement the coffee that you offer?
Well, with the food menu, we just wanted to offer a few really great items. Obviously, coffee is everyone's breakfast and brunch thing, so we wanted to offer kind of a brunchy menu to complement that. We don't have a full kitchen in the back, so kind of limited with equipment and space, and we wanted to offer just a small menu that hit a wider palette of people and was simple, but everything was really, really tasty and really good.
Well, is there anything that you would like to share with those who are seeing this that maybe people might not know about your business here, about Brasshorn Coffee Roasters?
Something you might not know is that we are open for event space rental anytime outside of business hours. So we have a lot of events in the evenings and events on Sunday afternoons. We have a church that meets here every Sunday morning because we're closed on Sundays. And something else you might know is we bake all of our pastries in-house. So we have a part-time baker on staff, and some of our baristas help out with that as well. And we do catering events we can cater. We're doing a catering event for 800 people with pastries and coffee. So we do have that ability. we'd love to do your next 800-person catering party.
And I have to say, the best coffee mugs I have seen anywhere.
Yeah.
Place your thumb right there. You are very welcome. These are fantastic.
We try to pay attention to all the details. You know, we want the experience to be good.
100%. Jeremy Florida, the owner and founder of Brasshorn Coffee Roasters. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Anytime. Stick with us. We have more coming up after this.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour. It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try. There aren't any cops around. I didn't think there were any cops around. I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Tell me your name, sir. Do you know who you are right now?
Main Street Sports Today strives to bring you the most timely and comprehensive coverage of sports news and more from Middle Tennessee and beyond.
We cover the teams you care about from preps to pros and bring some of the most influential voices in sports to keep you in the know.
Tune into Main Street Sports Today each Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Download the Main Street Media TV app.
Welcome back. Oh, this morning, Devon O'Day and Sylvia Ganier, they are cooking up a braised beef stew. They have more on the recipe and how you can make this at home.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Devon O'Day.
I'm Sylvia Ganier.
It's time for Devon's Table. And sometimes we cook, sometimes we talk about the table or anything about making home a home and bringing people in. And this is by request. We've had some questions and some requests for slow cooking.
And it's the time of year. Keep it easy. Keep like your schedule going when you're trying to zoom around with all the new sports that are starting with kids and everything else. This is a great way to be on schedule to get supper on the table the right time.
Comfort food extraordinaire. Ain't nothing that comes out of a crock pot that is not called comfort food, right?
Amen.
And what are we going to make today?
So I thought we would talk about just doing a braised beef stew. It's super easy, super hearty, and it stretches your budget.
We love that. Well, stick around and we'll give you the how-tos coming up. Slow cooking at its best, a beef stew. For the Irish month, we're going to have an Irish stew.
Yes, and you could substitute lamb if you didn't want to use beef and Irish it up even more, if you will. So when you're using your slow cooker, your crock pot, I remember my mother's original crock pot.
Oh, yeah.
I sure wish I still had it, believe it or not.
Really?
Because there's just something about having that earthenware flavor in those original crock pots. They were awesome. So if you've still got one and it's still kicking, don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Keep it. They don't make them like they used to anymore. So now they have new fancy fangled ones, and we're going to show you that because many of them have a low and a high setting, and you can pre-program in the times and all of that. So the most important thing to know is on the home setting, do you need it on the table fast or do you need it on the table more leisurely? You're going to let it go all day. If it's all day, you're going to use your low setting. You need to speed it up. you're going to use your high setting.
Gotcha.
If you're using your high setting, you're going to need more liquid because it's going to cook harder, faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so
you don't want it to sizzle down and then become glue.
No, that is not fun when you have to take the chisel out to get what's in the crock pot out of it. That is not fun. So if you're doing meat in with something, a lot of times I do one extra step, and that extra step would be using either a skillet or a Dutch oven to brown the meat first. So if I was going to make this original, I would take that cast iron enameled pot that I have there, put a little bit of oil in the bottom, maybe a little bit of flour if I want it to thicken up, because flour is a thickener just on the meat, and I would put it in for a minute and take it out for a minute. Super fast, super easy, and then I would layer that into my crock pot. With that, I'm going to put in my aromatics. And my aromatics and my mirepoix, which is...
Oh, that's carrots, celery, and onions.
See, I gave you a visual cue. I didn't even do this to make you see if you knew what you were talking about.
Mirepoix.
So with your mirepoix, you can put that in. I generally put that in the bottom, and then I put the meat on top of that, and I'm going to cover it with my braising liquid. If I have something, say I was doing a pot roast, or I was doing a shoulder or something like that, and I wanted to use these flavors, but I didn't want it to sit down in there all the way because I'm going to go even lower and slower, not as much liquid, then I can cheat. And I can use whole vegetables. Like I could take the tops off of these beautiful baby carrots that we saw and put the carrots themselves whole, smaller pieces, cut the onion into quarters and use it like a little riser. To put in the bottom of the crock pot, and then put my liquid in, and then it will steam over everything to make a nice roast that is steamed more than braised inside that liquid.
Yeah, and I love it. And when you braise it first in a skillet or something, you get that nice brown coloring and you get that taste that's nice and brown.
Yes, you're going to sear in that flavor. The same thing as steak on the grill. You put it on the hottest part of the grill first, and then you move it over to a little bit less on intensity sort of thing. So for this, what I would do is if I pretend I was going to brown my liquid, my oil with my ground beef, then I would put in my aromatics. Devon, can you help me there with the carrots?
I sure can.
Put in maybe 2 good handfuls of carrots there.
Okay. Okay.
Now, as my mama would say, I need farm girl handfuls.
Okay.
A little more. There you go. Perfect. And then, since you're practicing, let's do some celery.
Okay.
There you go. Practice makes perfect.
All right.
And see, I was going to act like I liked you today, and I went ahead and cut these up so we wouldn't have to cry together. We wouldn't have to think of something sad. We're going to think of happy things making this beef stew.
That's right.
And we're going to put these in. So these are just done as half moons. You can dice them if you want to, however you want to do it. I'm going to put that in, just kind of layer it in there. And you see, just making a nice little amount of stuff there. Okay, and then this is our pretend we have browned this ground beef. We're going to put that in as well there, Devon.
Go ahead and put it in.
Go ahead and put it in. We're not going to make our viewers wait for me to brown it. We're just going to go ahead and put that in.
Because it'll still brown.
Oh, yeah, it'll brown. It just won't be as seared, if you will.
Okay.
If you are super ambitious and you want to make your own beef stock, you can do that. You roast the bones. You take them out, and then you put them in with those same aromatics that we talked about, the celery, the onion, and the carrot, some water, and let them cook low and slow until it is like super, super smelling wonderful in the air and the liquid is reduced. So I have some beef stock here. What I would do is, if I didn't want to use wine in what I was cooking, I would use all beef stock. But, you know, I really like this Amber Falls wine for cooking.
Yeah, the Cajun.
Fest.
Yeah, because it's got some spice and kick to it.
Yes, and so it brings a little green pepper flavor into what we're doing. So I'm going to use half of this bottle in. Oh, that's not enough. Even a half yet. We're going to put half in. Oh, and an extra splurge just because we can. And the reason I use white onions, you see the red onion here?
Yeah.
This can make the broth turn kind of gray looking. Red onion, when you cook it, turns things kind of gray. So save this for your raw cooking.
Yeah, it looks really good in a salad, not so good when you cook it.
No, not so good, especially with mushrooms. It just turns grayish brown and it's not fun. And then I'm going to finish putting in my liquid with my beef stock here. And I'm going to cover it. I'm not going to overflow it. I'm going to cover it. And then I'm going to use some aromatics.
Oh my gosh.
Your favorite.
Bay leaf, is that?
Yeah, bay leaf. And you can use fresh bay if you have your own fresh bay tree. Not bay laurel, different plant. Bay leaf is different. And I really like bay with beef. So I'm going to put a handful in. And also, we all have these. We buy a big thing of them and they sit in our cabinet a long time.
Yeah.
They're going to lose flavor over the course of time. So if you would normally put in 2, it's been sitting there over 6 months, you probably put in 4 or 5 just to give you the flavor presence that you need.
And you pull them out. Do you pull yours out?
Yes.
Before you serve or whatever, because they're not fun to eat.
No, you don't want to try to eat those. You always take those out. And we're doing a little Cajun.
Don't ask me how I know.
Oh, really?
The first time, I was young, I didn't know what it was, and I just manged down on bay leaf. Went to somebody's house that had, Italian, they were cooking Italian food, had a bay leaf, and they go, you take that out, you take that out. I go, now you tell me. So I'm just, for anybody who doesn't know like me, I'm going to tell you, take the bay leaf out, even after you cook.
And if you forget or you miss one, and someone has it in their bowl and you see it, you go, you're the lucky one at the table. Guess what? You get an extra serving of pie just because you found the bay leaf. You don't let them know that you forgot to take it out, right? Or you missed one. You roll with the flow. That's the grade of hospitality. Since we're going Cajun style, a little thyme. This is just a dried thyme. You could put in thyme sprigs if you wanted to be able to pull that out. My stock already has salt in it.
Okay.
I'm not going to put salt or pepper in right now.
Okay.
I season at the end. It has a little bit in the stock. That's enough. And just for kicks and giggles, since we're going Cajun,
sage,
a little bit of filet.
Filet. Well, sassafras, isn't it?
Yes, sassafras, yes. So just a little bit sprinkle on top of the filet here. And you'll get that nuance and you'll say, what made that so good? So you've got all those kind of Cajun flavors in there. I'm going to put the lid on this puppy and I'm going to let it go low and slow for 8 hours. I'm going to pretend I had to go to work. I'm going to come back in 8 hours and it's going to be ready to go. All I have to do is make some mashed potatoes, some really nice rice, serve it over top, nice bowl, family's fed, one dish to do.
Oh,
hallelujah.
So good. This is an example of what you would do like Saturday night before you go to church, and then you get home and it's done.
Yes.
See, that's that perfect time period.
Just leave
and you get home and the house smells like so good.
Or you can put this all the way in the back and you have your guests and you come out and you have the flour all over you. You say, I've been slating all day. Oh. And then take all the credit and let the crock pot do all the work.
I love it.
I love it. And I do absolutely love anything and everything that comes from a crock pot. Hopefully you guys out there can make this at home and share it with your loved ones. Thanks so much for joining us here on Mornings on Main Street today. We are out of time and hope to see you back tomorrow on Friday.